Hello, hello there, everybody. It is me, Sono Rayn. That's right, not just regular Sono Rayn, but Master Agent Sono Rayn. That's right, I got my master's. I am now a master's agent. I've been working hard on it for the past 2 years, so finally being free from education it's pretty good, not gonna lie. Let me drink some water. Ooh. The ceremony happened actually like a few days ago, but oh boy, it was something. It was really tiring, not gonna lie. But well, the journey overall as a whole was, I would say it went alright. Oh yeah, sorry. It is me, Sono Rayn, and first ever Zatsudan. If you guys are not familiar with a Zatsudan stream, that essentially is just chatting. And what topic today we're talking about? Just me getting my master's. I don't know how long I'll be able to talk for, but I will try my best overall, so yeah. I want to go for 2 hours, but if not, then it's fine. Like I said, this is just gonna be a nice, chilled, relaxed stream. Just chilling and talking, you know. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if you had me on in the background and while you're doing other stuff, you know. That's fine. That's totally fine. But yeah, I just want to just relax and celebrate a bit. Because this is, I would say, this is one of the few milestones that I feel like I'm proud of that I achieved. But yeah, I finally got my master's after, was it a 2-year program? It wasn't basically an not accelerated, but it took 2 years to accomplish, and I was doing that alongside my VTubing as well as being an agent for hire. Hello there, Rena. Welcome. But yeah, first ever Zatsudan, so I will try my best. I do apologize if the stream is really short, because I don't know, I will try. I do have topics. I really do have topics. But yeah, overall, it was a 2-year journey. It was fairly okay. I mean, granted, I wouldn't say trying to achieve a master's degree is the easiest task, because obviously you got to put a lot of effort into it. And for me, that effort was definitely distributed through all those assignments. Granted, some of those assignments were easy. The ones that I always dreaded, I don't know, I just hated a lot, would just have to be group assignments. I don't know. Back in middle school and high school, those were great. Those were fantastic because you get to actually group with your friends and basically either fail or pass together. However, sometimes in the case, the professor or teacher, they would assign you to specific members, and sometimes you would just, you could be neutral with them, but sometimes I guess over time, I just realized, man, it's not that I don't trust you, but rather I just want to do it by myself, if that makes sense. No, so you didn't want to think about coursework? Surprisingly, I was in the same boat when I was getting my basically before I even got my master's, I was in the same boat. I honestly thought my journey would end after I got my bachelor's degree as an agent. However, something snapped within me. I don't know why. So, surprising story time. It was a long journey for me to actually get my bachelor's degree. However, even amidst that, again, it was more difficult than it was to get my master's. Maybe that has to play a factor with my work ethics as well as my experience. But I felt really more relieved when I got my bachelor's. Well, no, because the one issue about being an agent, you don't get to be an agent after you get your bachelor's degree, unfortunately. I have to take a agent license test if I actually want to work in the field, so that was actually the final big test in my quote-unquote college journey. And I wouldn't say I did pour blood and sweat into it within 2 weeks span, but I didn't do it like all throughout. But like, oh, I was essentially locked in. I was really locked into that. I remember it was like, okay, we're gonna start studying. All right, here's some new questions. Okay, okay, that was like 50 questions. I wrote down notes. I read over them. Now let's take a 15-minute break to watch a video. Okay, back to doing it all over again. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Okay, I'll eat here, then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Then on the final day, the day before, I didn't study because I was told by like other peers that's like, you've already absorbed so much knowledge that it honestly doesn't matter anymore. So when I was doing that for my bachelor's, I was just like, okay, I'll just play some video games, chill with friends for a bit. And that, quote unquote, what I thought to be was my final educational hurdle was really exhilarating, but it kind of sucked when I took it. Just because, all right, so the funny thing is, that test either ends early or you go through the entirety of the test. That's how you know whether you pass or fail. Not necessarily, it's more of, I guess the best way to say it is, there's a specific passing meter where it's either 100% sure you pass or 100% sure you failed for every question that you answer. So, unfortunately, it wasn't 100% sure that I passed or failed, so I had to go through the entirety of the tests. I did pass in the end, but when I got those results, the funny thing about those results is, you have to wait 2 days to get those results. And those are the longest 2 days of my entire life. Like, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to know what happened in the end. Cause like, granted, I went through the entirety of the test. That means it wasn't that test wasn't 100% sure I either passed or failed. So I didn't feel confident in the slightest. I was like, I did the best that I can. I did the testing method of like eliminating all the duds. Yeah, 2 days just to wait for it? It was really stressful. Like, and then obviously there was a website, like an official website, where I could actually see the results after those 2 days. Obviously I had to put my credit card information into that, and not gonna lie, I was kind of really shaky about it. I held my card, I started shaking as I was typing every single digit, and as soon as I pressed enter, I was literally, hi Ice, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the first ever Zatadon for the Sono Rayn. But yeah, what happened was, I was shaking my hands as I was putting my credit card information so I could finally see my agent license results. But like, I was so nervous, I didn't know what I wanted to see. Like, I was literally scouring the entire of my desktop screen just to look for a specific word associated with either pass or fail. And guess what? Oh, guess what? Guess what? All that I saw was the word pass. And that was enough to make me go, what's the word? What's the best word? Exhausted? Exhilarated? I didn't go crazy, no, but I was just like a huge big sigh of relief. I was just like, I didn't cry, but I was just like, I finally did it. I am finally a licensed agent. But that was only for my bachelor's degree. Surprisingly, it took 2 years of being an agent for me to realize, something doesn't feel right here. And then it just snapped. I think it was one really bad agent mission where I was just like, oh god, I really need to change the type of missions that I actually partake in. But I knew for a fact that with my years of experience, I was not going to be qualified. So because of that, it's like, alright, so basically, after I got my agent license, I experimented. I was like, okay, I thought I wanted to do these type of missions, so I did. And I thought I would enjoy them, but unfortunately, COVID happened, and it actually messed up my training process along the path as an agent. And it was really bad. It basically gave me experience in an entirely different field of agency, which, don't get me wrong, it was really helpful, but it basically didn't help in learning my initial fields. So as soon as like the COVID peak like slowed down or went lower and I returned, I basically didn't remember anything about my initial mission that I really wanted to partake in. So long story short, I had to change fields, which, don't get me wrong, it was okay, but it was really stressing just because I feel like the environment was not really catered to how I was as a learner, you know? I don't know, I felt like those types of missions, they had high expectations. So because of that, I decided, okay, since I have experience in the field that I was sent to due to COVID, I might as well go with that. So I decided to hit up my old agent buddy that I met up in college, and I basically joined his field. I basically joined his field in agency. And what happened there was, you know, it was actually pretty decent. I had a decent team. The only issue was these were night missions, night espionages. Don't get me wrong, I'm quite the night owl. I mean, you've seen my streams before where I would stream pretty long, but it was definitely mentally draining. Hold on, let me drink some water. It was really mentally draining, just because, one, like, I could do 1 or 2 all-nighters, but consecutive as the norm, that was way too much. Granted, it was only like, they were 12-hour shifts 3 times weekly. As someone who's working hours, night shift sounds, well, it actually depends on the field. Sometimes they're not as hectic, but it does have its busy hours, unfortunately. And the one issue when it comes to doing night agency would have to be the fact, like, okay, this week you got Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's cool. However, the following week, you definitely have that weekend, meaning you have to work Saturday and Sunday. That could be bad because either the following week or that same week, you could have another shift. So you could be doing 3 night shifts in a row. Heck, maybe even 4 if you consider the following week. And that isn't really good on my mental. Granted, I really appreciate sleep a lot because of it, but just imagine this. You get home from a shift, a night shift, in fact. Take a shower. You still feel you somehow are still awake. Like, you're still mobile. You're still like, I think your body's still in work mode. And then you set up your bed, you lay down, you don't really expect anything. Like, you're just like conscious. You literally close your eyes for maybe 1 or 2 seconds. You knock out just like that. And you're like, what just happened? I thought I was still full of energy, but my body immediately instinctively shut down. Yeah, you know what sucks about night shift? Your days off do not feel like days off. Cause you literally miss half the whole day cause you're sleeping, you know? Like, I would wake up at maybe, let's say 3, and then I would stay up till like 3 a.m. It sucks. It was really bad. And honestly, I think, well, granted, my sleep schedule is technically still not the same. I even took well, no. So here's the thing. I pulled an all-nighter last night. Don't judge me, don't judge me. But the reason why was because I was talking to my agency friend, because we do have something in store. So afterwards, like, obviously I was used to it, but then I immediately knocked out. And then what time did I wake up? Because I did get an early wake-up call from friends to like help them out with stuff. That was like around noon. But then after that, I went back to sleep, and then I woke up again, and now here we are having the Zatsu. So I mean, I need to fix my night schedule, definitely for the future. But honestly, I kind of enjoy it. But yeah, I should definitely fix that. I appreciate sleep a lot. I enjoy sleep. It's a good passer timer. It actually helps if you're let's say you're hungry. I'm cutting back though. Just sleep it off. Yeah. Oh, I remember. Okay, don't do this, cause granted, I enjoy iced coffee. You know, I have an iced coffee right here. Sleep is just a good refresh for the mind. It is, it definitely is. Sometimes though, there would be times where the sleep doesn't feel like I feel revitalized. I don't know why, maybe it's just cause there's too, I don't understand the saying too much sleep. I don't know, but there would be times where the sleep just didn't feel right, like I'm not fully recharged. Okay, sorry I drifted off topic, but one of the main factors, like during that 2 years after getting my bachelor's, and like I said, I was doing those fields, energy drinks and iced coffee. Those were lifesavers during those shifts. I guess the caffeine crash after those shifts definitely made falling asleep much easier, but I wouldn't recommend it. I relied mostly on, not surprisingly, not as much iced coffee. Just because, like, one, it's iced coffee, the ice would melt, and two, there was a vending machine nearby, so I could rely on energy drinks. Granted, I don't drink energy drinks that much anymore. Specifically, I went for that white Monster Energy Zero. It was a nice flavor. It was actually really pleasant, but it did come in clutch. Oh, I remember. There was this one instance where I didn't have an energy drink, or no, my agency friend, I worked with him, and he actually used his pre-workout for a shift. And guess what? He was like, "Oh, let me give you some so you could try it." And I was kind of hesitant. I'm like, "Dude, you know I don't really do that pre-workout stuff." And he's like, "Don't worry, I'll only give you half." He did give me only half of that portion of like the regular serving size. Oh man, it was horrible. Well, granted, I was energized, but way too energized. What happened was, I think my heart rate went up to like 120 beats per minute. That's how normal heartbeats go from 60 to 100. They didn't put anything. That's just the pre-workout that he used. Not only was my heart rate so up and I was so energetic, but he did tell me as a fair warning, he's like, "Oh yeah, you might feel that itching sensation." And I didn't know what that meant. Like, I've heard of, like, you know, phantom pain, where like, oh, you know, when a amputated limb, you would feel like an itching sensation. I didn't know what that actually felt like before, but because of that pre-workout, I felt it. Granted, I felt it everywhere throughout my bodies. My arms, oh no, especially my legs, they were burning of itching. And I was like, asking my friend, I was like, "Dude, how much did you give me? Like, this is way too much. Don't ever give that to me again." He was like, yeah, we probably shouldn't." No, he just gave me pre-workouts. It was not crack, it was not drugs. I mean, I don't know. Granted, I guess it more depends on, I think your activity level does play a factor into it. So probably athletes don't feel it as much. But since that was my first time ever trying pre-workout, specifically of that kind, I was just like, ooh-wee. Like, ah. But yeah, so I worked with him for a bit in that different agency field for around, I would say, was it 2 years? It was like around a year and a half a bit. Hi, Andrea, welcome. Welcome to the first ever Zatsudan. So yeah, after working with him for about a year and a half, an incident did happen with one of our clients. Welcome back. But yeah, so what happened with that client was, the mission just didn't end really well for both, specifically on my end. And I think that was not, alright, so actually, I was honestly thinking prior to it, because granted, that unit that I was working with, I had a really good team of agents to work with. The problem was, surprisingly, the workload. Like, oh, I would have like we would have a specific amount of clients, but then near the end, there's a possibility of getting one extra client, and that takes up a lot of your time to like set them up. So as an agent, I was used to it, but I don't know what was going on during that time, but it felt like every time I started a shift, I would always have a client in addition to my already preset like 3 or 4 clients. So I would have such a huge workload, and it felt really mentally exhausting, not to mention that it was a night shift. Don't get me wrong, the team was fantastic. However, a team only makes it tolerable, but making it tolerable shouldn't be the norm. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Sometimes I want a day where it's like, I do my work and that's it. I want to do my work and then here's some extra stuff that might happen along the path. And if that's normal, typically normal, then is this what I really want to keep doing? So, like most things, I decided to go back, well, not go back to school yet. I was like, okay, let's go search up for other agencies and missions that I could partake in. So I went solo, or not necessarily solo. Again, it was another training session. And I was like, oh, this is another type of stuff that I might be interested in partaking. Yeah, exactly, Rena. It shouldn't feel... Coworkers literally make it bearable, but if they're only making it bearable, that means that every day it's just constant onslaught, which I really didn't want. So because of that, I decided to go into another agency and see another field within my agent skills. Granted, it was one of those ones that I actually preferred, because I thought, oh yeah, this one will definitely be the one where it's not going to be so stressing. I was wrong. Within, I think, 6 months into training, it snapped. Like, it was literally the worst shift ever. It wasn't like a 12-hour shift. No, it was like a 13 to 14-hour shift, because that day was really busy. I was still in training, but it was so overwhelming, specifically at that location for that mission. I was just like, what did I get myself into? You're telling me it's just, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of that astronaut meme of the guy staring at the moon, and then you got the other astronaut guy staring right behind you with a gun. That's how it was. It's like, wait, it's all the same? It's all these different fields of missions that I've been partaking, thinking it would be entirely different. They're all the same in regards to their workload and stress. It always has been. It always has been. So because of that, I literally was just like, I am not suited for this. I need to become qualified to I need to get out of this type of agent work and actually jump the hurdle from this type of missions to entirely different missions. Hi, Mio the Dodge. Welcome, welcome. So because of that, I decided to go back and take my master's. So now here we are. Well, so because of that, I had to break the news to my boss, and yeah, just chatting, because you are looking at a master agent. I got my master's degree, so that's what we're just going to be talking about today. Wow, we're only 20 minutes in, but there's still so much to talk about, so I don't know, maybe it's going to be an hour, 2 hours, we'll see. I am trying my best though, so if you guys don't necessarily, you guys could just listen to me while you guys are doing other work, that's all fine, you know? I will try my best. Let me drink some water once again. I'm a thirsty boy today. So yeah, that horrible shift just made me realize it's all the same. It literally is just all the same, cause like you said, the team makes it bearable, but it was just just stress inducing for me. Hydration is key for long talks. You're not wrong, but it does take a certain amount of I need to monitor the amount that I drink, because I realized when I started VTubing, when I would be talking a lot, there would be instances of belching or hiccups, and I'll be like, oh, I think I drank too much water prior to this. Speaking of which, let me drink some more. But yeah, that one shift just basically snapped within me, because honestly, I thought I would be done with education when I got my bachelor's. I thought it was over. I no longer have to go to school. I don't have to think about anything. And I remember when I was doing after I got my bachelor's, I would have dreams of like, oh, I have an assignment due. Oh no. I don't know. It was like, I guess you could consider those nightmares, but no, I think those were just dreams, thinking like, oh yeah, like I have a paper due tonight. I gotta make sure I take care of that. Then I would wake up in the middle of that night, and then I'll realize, oh wait, I'm done with college. What am I thinking? You still have those sometimes? Same here. But yeah, that horrible shift made me realize I gotta get out of this field. Well, not necessarily out of this agent field, but I need to shift these entire missions, because they are way too similar, in which they just feel completely the same. But I knew with my experience it was not going to be enough, which is why I decided to go back to college and get my master's. Surprisingly, applying for the master's program was not that difficult, but there was one issue that was going to be the biggest hurdle to actually getting into the program. And what I'm talking about is recommendation letters. Now, there are two people that I could have gotten recommendations from. One, professors, and two, prior bosses. That is really stressing, because if you think about it, I've changed so many agencies. It doesn't paint a really good picture as to, oh, like if I ask them like, hey, can you write me a recommendation letter? That's kind of tough when I literally left their agency, you know? So, but I wanted to get into the program, so I reached out. And lo and behold, the first boss that I reached out to, if you had an anime series, what would you name that series? You know, all right. We'll pause on the agency so I can answer this question, Get Noobs. I don't mind. See, that's the thing. The first job, I didn't really leave on good terms. I gave it 2 weeks, and if I didn't tolerate it well, I would literally leave. That's how it felt. Alright, so let's see. I guess Get Noob, we'll say 2. So the first one, we'll do the generic long anime series title. This one will be The Boring Life of an Agent for Hire. That would be the long title. And then for a short one, we'll just make it one word. I guess maybe just Rayn. Yeah, just R-A-Y-N. Yeah, so for a single word title, if it was an anime, it would just be Rayn. And as for the long title, it'd just be The Boring Life of an Agent The Boring Life of an Agent for Hire. But yeah, basically the first one, I would say I left on good terms, but he was not willing to write me a good letter. He was not willing to write me a recommendation letter. So it was kind of sad about that. Because of that, like, I remember I reached out, I was like, hey, I know it's been a while, I really want to go back to college and get my master's. Would you be willing to write me a letter of recommendation? And he just straight up said, I'm glad you're thinking about your future. However, out of goodwill, I don't think I'll be able to, just because you did not have enough time working with us. And that was totally fine. But it did put a lot more pressure on me trying to get into the master's program. I was like, I need to reach out to people ASAP. I needed 2. So I reached out to one of my professors when I was getting my bachelor's, and luckily they were really swell about it. They wrote me a letter of recommendation, so that was one. Yeah, it was a reasonable response from them, but it still stung. It definitely stung, because they were good, they were great, but I didn't necessarily get to work with them that long. And then, following that, I started to reach to my prior boss, the one where I worked with my agency friend, because granted, I worked there longer, and I did give 2 weeks notice, and she was really nice about it, and she did write me a letter of recommendation. So luckily, I was qualified, my overall status was qualified, and those 2 letter of recs allowed me to get into the master's program. A big sigh of relief overall. Oh man, getting into it was, I would say it was the biggest hurdle, but then maintaining also worth noting, because it is a master's program, they have a specific requirement to actually stay in to the program. You have to have, so you know how in regular college, a C is passing, apparently C is passing, right? Quote unquote. But it is not acceptable in a master's program. So I need to keep, I think, a GPA of 3.0 and above, as well as not have any C's throughout my master's program. Luckily, that wasn't the case. I was mostly an A student with 1 or 2 B's along the line, but it was definitely a lot of hard work. The reason why I would say that is just mostly because every week, every 2 weeks, yeah, academic pressure, it's tough. It really is tough, especially when money is along the line. Everything runs on money. Don't you think it's kind of weird that... Hold on, let me drink water. I'm about to hiccup. Oh no. That was a hiccup. Don't you think it's funny how in order to progress through college, you're essentially going to college so you can have a job to make money, but in order to pay for those classes to get through college, you need to have money. So it's an endless life money cycle, so you have to get a part-time job. You know? You have to make money in order to... You have to earn money in order to make money for your education. And that's really mind-boggling to me. Really is. Alright, going back to the academics, it was not bad. But every 2 weeks or every week, I always had like a paper due. Oh my god, discussion posts. I hate discussion posts. They suck so much. I hate them because like that's the only way you're gonna have participation points. So you gotta participate in these discussion posts. So yeah, you know, you would just wait for someone to post something, and then you would have to say either, hey there, Joe, I really enjoyed your post. However, here is another insight that I would like to recommend, and here are these sources in APA format to prove my case. Let me just type a paragraph explaining that. That's basically what those discussion posts essentially were. They took too much time finding the source, and it was really boring, and there were multiple of those. The papers were doable, but granted, this is just a force of habit, and I did this a lot in high school as well. I would always work on them on the last minute, so you would just see Sono Rayn at the computer, typing, just to get that 2,000 word limit with APA format, Times New Roman, 12 font, double spaced, with a title and a resource page. Those were the times. Those were the times. Oh, there was one time where I pulled an all-nighter, and it wasn't necessarily due at midnight, but it was due at noon the following day. And it was like a PowerPoint with a lot of programming, and I was like rushing because I was on the clock. Like, it was already 11:58 when I was finalizing everything, and I was able to submit it on 11:59 before it was considered late. And I passed. I definitely passed that class. Actually, I wouldn't have become a agent if I didn't pass a master agent if I didn't pass that class. Ooh, that was something really. I wasn't really granted. I mean, I did learn a lot throughout that master's program, but I will say, it was really interesting how I was able to balance both going through that program as well as doing my VTubing, or being an agent right here on stream. Because surprisingly, I didn't do it my first year. I started VTubing around the same time I was halfway through the program. So, but it was still surprisingly, the first half was like the easy courses. Like, you would only have one course per term, and then immediately after that halfway point, they threw in 3 classes or 2 classes per term. So that made it a lot more busier on my end, but I honestly think I fairly balanced myself well. Granted, I never told you guys around that time that I was I was going for my master's, but I balanced it pretty well. Like, I would do a discussion post before a stream, get it done, and then here I am. Hey, But there were times where I did have to put my foot down and be like, okay, this is too much work. I shouldn't mess around. I really gotta focus on this. Which is why there would be sometimes those posts where, hey, I gotta deal with work, aka my master's work, so no stream this week, stuff like that. But I tolerated it pretty well. It definitely got easier near the end just because there weren't as many busy classes anymore. It's good time management? I mean, kind of. I was still procrastinating on the papers. Don't get me wrong. Is it wrong to say I'm a really good procrastinator? It's one of those things where it's like, okay, how long on average is it gonna take me to finish this paper? Maybe 6 hours if I rush, 8 hours if I actually take my time, 10 hours if I actually really want it to be as perfect as possible. That's basically how I see it. I don't really consider it good time management if I'm doing it so late, but I do get the work done regardless. I remember back in high school, one of my biggest procrastination moments, well, I did it twice. I read a book to take a test the following day. Like, I literally read the entirety of it by like around 1 a.m. to around 6 a.m. in middle school. That was kind of fun, I think. I don't really remember much about it. And then the next time was around high school, where I pulled a secret all-nighter. I had my laptop on my lap, and I was in my bed, and I was just typing, doing research non-stop, and I think I got a solid 92% on that paper. And don't get me wrong, it was one of those big project papers, but I pulled it off somehow. I don't know, I guess I'm just really good at it. But that shouldn't be the norm. That shouldn't be the norm. It shouldn't. No. Don't procrastinate like me. Just because it's effective on me doesn't mean it'll be effective for you guys, My lips are dry. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, it was a long journey. I managed it fairly well. And because of that, we got to where we are right now. I finished the program, and I recently went through the ceremony. So let's talk about the ceremony. The ceremony was, I would say, well, granted, I was happy during my bachelor's ceremony, but the master's ceremony, I don't know, on my end, I just wanted to get it over with. Maybe that was just due to age and maturing, but I was just like, come on, wrap this up already. Come on, you called out my name already. Yeah. But the problem was, I think it was because not only were there masters, there were also doctorates, and there were also we were also sharing alongside the bachelor's group. And oh my god, there was so many bachelor agents. Like, there were so many of those students. So they kind of, well, I wouldn't say it's their fault. It's just, that's just the way the college goes. But the ceremony itself, I would just say, like, I mean, it was nice. It was beautiful. It had everything. It had the cameras. It had the musicians. It had the big screen. But it was just way too long for 2 hours. Cause there was a lot of speeches. And then, all right, this is not, yeah, it gets so long. The one thing, I don't know, maybe this is just me being an adult. Bachelors are way too positive and optimistic. I don't know. They basically want to keep saying, you can change the world. Stop being the norm. Like, and they would be the ones that'll be doing so much. Like, they'd be doing community field work, have a part-time job, be part of the student council. I'm like, when is your free time? Why are you trying to be Mr. and Mrs. everything? Like, oh my god. You guys are, I mean, granted, that's impressive, but that's abnormal. I mean, granted, I don't know their situation, so I'm not going to judge them. They are, I respect their hard work ethic, but at the same time, I'm just like, oh my god, you frighten me, you know? And for me, like, them trying to say, like, oh, you could change the world. Let's revolutionize. Let's change these norms. Let's be the generation that changes everything. And I'm just, in my mind, there's two factors. One, I'm like, come on, I just want to get this over with. But as an adult, as well as like the group of like doctors and masters, I'm just like, I just want to, I'm just here to get my degree. You know, I'm not trying to be the next Shakespeare or the next Bill Gates, you know? Granted, I have a high degree, but I'm like, I'm sorry, I am basically a big NPC who just wants to live his life and just have a good, enjoyable memories, you know? I don't think I'm the MC. Do you guys think I'm the MC? I don't think I'm the MC. Though granted, I do see myself from a third person's perspective, like, oh, you idiot, why did you do that? But no, that's literally what happens. Like, they just kept talking and talking. And I was just like, oh, okay, so this is this type of ceremony. But I got my name called. I gave up shakes of two hands, got a picture taken, and that was just about it. A long 2 hours, granted, but it was a happy moment. It was a happy milestone. Granted, the one thing that irks me every time, even from both my bachelor's and my master's, as well as even in high school, because this has happened in high school as well, it's just a norm over here, but they wouldn't actually give you your degree. They give you the degree holder during the ceremony, and granted, they would just send it to you in the mail, but I just don't really like that. Maybe that's just me. I just want my degree and get it over with. The ceremony should be the last time I should actually be in contact with the college. But no, you guys have to send me one last letter showcasing the degree, you know? I don't know, just give it to me now. I don't want to wait until maybe a month later, you know? But that's just the way, you know, the policies are and guidelines. But yeah, the ceremony was pretty nice. It was the same for me. A hollow tube, then the fancy paper it irked. Oh my god, I would love, you know, I want the tube. I really want I want the scroll degree. I want them to bring that back. I want to see that, you know, and I want to see. Man, movie depictions of graduation suck because they're so cliche, but they gave me high expectations. Oh yeah, this is what it's gonna be like when I graduate. But it wasn't. No one's throwing their hats. No one's screaming. Granted, a lot of crowds when the student names were called, they were definitely screaming out for them. Wow, really, really supportive groups. Really respect them. But yeah, it just didn't feel like, oh yeah, everyone graduated now. In the background here is playing Blink 182. You know? I don't know. But yeah, after the ceremony, I remember I was talking to my parents and family. I was like, oh, how do you want to celebrate afterwards? And I'm just thinking, I'm like, you know, I do not really care, to be honest. Just cause like, one, it happened in the morning and I just want to get this over with as soon as possible. So I just literally told them, let's just eat somewhere nearby. As long as it's fancy enough, you know, but we just don't want to be grouped with all the other graduates, you know, because I think that's one of the main issues about being a graduate, specifically post-ceremony. Everyone's going to be colluding in specific spots of restaurants. So it's like, oh, you can tell they're they graduated with you, you know? I mean, I don't mind it, but it's just like one of those things where it's like, oh, this restaurant's definitely going to be busy. We definitely did go to a busy restaurant, and it did take a while. Oh, so funny thing, we went for hot pot. The hot pot was delicious, but before we ate the food, we were waiting for a table. The problem with that area was that their big size, because we were like a size 7, like 7 people in total. The one specific table that was meant to be for our party size was already taken. And they told us like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like 45 to 60 minutes. We're like, okay, sure, no problem. We can wait that long. It was more than that. And they still didn't leave their table. And they weren't even a party of 7, they were like a party of 5. So we just like, I already did the waitlist thing. I put on my phone and my number, but we were waiting inside. So I was just like staring at the hostess. I was just like, is it time yet? Is it our turn yet? And eventually they realized like, oh, we should probably start thinking of a solution, because as we were waiting, groups, parties of 2, parties of 4, parties of 3 kept getting tables, and they didn't wait as long as us. They came in as we were waiting, and they got their tables. That's I hate that so much. I wish it was more of, okay, because you're a party of 7, we need to wait. We're not gonna give this party of 1 that table over there, because that's gonna be part of your table, you know? I wish it was like that, but it just irked me so much that we were just waiting and everyone else was getting first dibs. It's like when you order from like a fast food place and your order hasn't come out yet this person's order came out super fast, you know? I'm just like, why? It's not fair. I ordered before them. So yeah, that's literally what happened. But surprisingly, they were able to get us 2 separate tables, and it worked out again. We got to eat the hot pot. Granted, I think that was like my second experience with hot pot. The first one was with my friends, but this time it was with my family, and because it was with my family, I could go out more. Yeah, you know what sucked? I didn't eat breakfast. I had nothing during the morning. So just waiting for that brunch was just like, it was too much for me. I was just like, just give me something, anything. Let me drink some water. I'm talking too much. But yeah, during the hot pot, since I was with my family, I could go a little more all out. We ate a lot, and the price in the end for 7 people, it was pretty good. So we started off with like 3 broths. I guess that's the best way you can describe it, Because hot pot, you basically are given the flavor broth, and then you order your meats, and then you cook that meat in that said broth, and then you could order other stuff alongside it. We ate a lot. We had 3 broths per table, and we basically ordered the same meat as well. For which part, Fog? Are you talking about the 3 broths? The 3 broths each have different flavorings. So I think one of them was like a chicken broth, the other one was a mushroom broth. Oh my god, the mushroom broth was really good. It was really delicious. But yeah, like, I just remember, like, oh, I would just grab a meat, just throw it in there, and just pick it out again. Yeah, you could ask anything, Funk. As long as I'm able to answer it, you know? Do you watch Demon Slayer or One Piece? I read One Piece, and I've finished reading Demon Slayer. I don't really... Here's the thing, I watched Demon Slayer initially, then I just like, okay, I didn't want to know the remainder of the story, so I just read it. That's just about it. I mean, granted, Demon Slayer, it's good for what it is. I think it's fairly short, but they... sorry, hold on. They are definitely milking that pacing, though. That's one thing I do not like about anime. It definitely depends on how they pace things overall. Sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long, but overall, it just... Like, let's say I read a manga part and it would just, this chapter would last forever and ever and ever, but then in the anime, it's just like it lasts only maybe 5 minutes and then they are on to the next arc. Yeah, One Piece. It's one of those series where I kind of wish it just ends already. Don't get me wrong, it has its great arcs. My favorite would have to be the DeRosa arc. That is definitely my favorite arc out of all of them. I really enjoyed DeRosa a lot. I enjoyed Wano. Wano's good. But I definitely felt DeRosa. DeRosa just... It struck something in my heart. It really did. I really enjoyed it. You got to see Sabo. Sabo returns. That was a really heartfelt moment, and then the characters in that arc were just so good, as well as the people in DeRosa. Like, it was just a country of love that was corrupted due to those warlords, you know? But yeah, that was definitely my favorite arc in One Piece. Demon Slayer, for what they're milking when it comes to its content in anime form, it is lasting way too long for what it is. Yeah, Law's backstory. You know, the one that's... you know who I felt was really good in I'm sorry, I was stuttering. In the DeRosa arc? The Kiros, the toy soldier, and his daughter. That broke me. That broke me so much. I was crying for that. It was so much for me. I couldn't handle it. Oh, it felt so sad, especially when Kiros turned into a toy soldier and he tried to protect his wife. And his wife died not knowing that was his husband, her husband. Even his daughter didn't even know that was her father until everyone turned back to normal. That was so much. That was too much for me to handle. And it was too much. I couldn't stand it. The background for that royal family. Oh, and how Kiros redeemed himself. It's just not fair. It really is not fair. I couldn't. It was that plot. It messed me up. I was just so happy that Luffy won. Because it was just too much. And then I think the funniest moment was when alright, there were 2 funny moments during DeRosa arc that I liked. It was when Zoro fought the really big giant, but his voice was so high pitched. He was like this, or something like that. And then the other one was like when I think every pirate there, like that were rebelling, they were like, I'm gonna take down Doflamingo. No, I'm gonna take down Doflamingo. What are you talking about? But yeah, the Kiros family and the royal, oh, man, that was too much for me. And then Sabo regaining his memories. There was just so much good stuff happening in Dressrosa arc. That's why it's one of my favorites throughout entirely of One Piece. In addition to that opening slapped. I don't know. I love all the openings. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, that's definitely one of my top faves. All right, going back to Demon Slayer, they are milking Demon Slayer a lot. When I mean, okay, so the way I mean that is because I read it in manga form, everything feels like it happened super fast. But in the anime, it's like, oh, you're making this entire arc into a movie? I mean, that's honestly a good thing. But it just feels like, wow, you basically made season 2 just this arc by itself. Which I guess makes sense, because you gotta prolong it as long as possible. And fairly, it's still, honestly, where is it even at right now? Is it gonna have a season 3 and then another movie? Is that what I'm getting at? That's what I would assume, right? Obviously, okay, so everyone has their favorite characters in Demon Slayer. Mine? I don't know. I wanted to cosplay him initially, but, I mean, granted, I still like his backstory. Yeah, anime-wise, it just takes too long. I mean, granted, they're doing movies and all that, but it's just like, gotta wait for this, gotta wait for that. Favorite character for me, I enjoy Inosuke. You gotta at least, all right. Yes, I know Inosuke is an idiot. I know he's hard-headed, but he's funny. I love him. I mean, granted, Zenitsu, he also has his moments. Tanjiro, he's fine. I mean, he's just your typical shonen MC, and there's nothing wrong with that. But every other character seems more interesting. Heck, even Kano is more interesting than what's his name? Tanjiro, that's his name. Sorry, the best way I can remember Tanjiro is thinking of how Inosuke made fun of his name. I definitely did enjoy the training arc when they were recovering when they got poisoned, you know? That was pretty fun. But yeah, it's gonna be a while, who knows, maybe by 2026 they finally finish Demon Slayer? Or maybe 2025. It's a fair chance that it might end by that time. Ah, man, anime's fun, but it's also really draining. I remember, like, when I started anime, there was this one series, I think it was Zero no Tsukaima. I was really curious about because I just kept seeing, wow, it's getting another season. What is going on? How is this anime still ongoing? And then it finally got the final season, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'll give it a shot. If it's gotten 4 seasons to its name, it must be that good, right? It was decent. It was decent enough for its time. But then there would be some animes where I'm just like, why is there no second season? It doesn't make sense. Like, granted, there's not enough content for there to be a second season, but I feel like it was so good that it should have had a second season because of the popularity. That anime in particular that I'm talking about is, hold on, let me drink, hiccups. Hoseki no Kyuni, let me look that up real quick. I think I know what you're talking about. Bum. Hold on. My phone is slow. I should get a new phone. Oh, take that out. Hoseki no Kuni. Oh my god, I remember this one. That anime was alright, yeah, this is an anime. I thought this anime was pretty interesting. One, just because it's gem girls basically, and 2, it had some really cool fight animations, and it was 3D. You don't really see that many 3D animes nowadays. Granted, some have been pulling off recently, which I'm really impressed about. There is one issue that I did have about it though, and it would specifically have to be the shift from the MC's personality halfway through. It didn't feel right to me, because it felt like she literally lost all of her emotions as soon as she mixed with that other gem or whatever that was. Honestly, I still can't understand who the enemies in that show were. Yeah, it was really interesting to see all those other rocks. But yeah, I really wish Faust didn't change that much. I really enjoyed her beginning personality, because she was always like bubbly, you know? And the enemies were weird. So they're against fish? Mermaids? I can't really tell. But the fight scenes were definitely cool. Because they were rocks, they necessarily didn't die. They just need to be put back together. And I was really confused as to the teacher, the bald monk. Like, yes, he's powerful, but we really don't get to see him fight. I was kind of sad about that. I wanted him just to pull a Yamamoto from Bleach. He's like, fine, I'll do it myself, but no. We only see him fight like once. So I kind of was sad about that. Darn. But no, I definitely wish there would be similar animes of that caliber. I would love to see more 3D anime. Oh, a lot gets expanded in the manga? Yeah, it felt like it was... Like, granted, I didn't watch it religiously, but it just felt like there were just so much missing plot details that I was like really confused about, like, why are they the enemy? Why are they rocks? Is Sensei a bad guy? I can't really tell, you know? It's one of those moments. So let's see. Oh yeah, since we're talking about discontinued. Oh, the manga finished? Nice. You know, when I was, speaking of like manga finish, when I was looking into manga, I remember one of the initial first animes that I ever watched, like, outside of like the generic ones that are introduced in TV, such as Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, all that stuff. The one that I watched, granted, I didn't know it at the time. It was when I was in Wisconsin Dells. I was like 4, and I literally just watched the last episode of Fooly Cooly. Yeah, that was my first experience of like literally watching anime. And I was just like, whoa, what am I watching? It was so crazy, explosive. It had everything within that last episode. And I was just like, what? And don't get me wrong, Fooly Cooly is a classic. Honestly, I don't think they'll ever finish the manga. But yeah, speaking of going back to the manga finish, I remember when I started getting into manga, I was like, is Fooly Cooly a manga? So I decided to search that up, and I literally saw it was the last chapter, and I was like, oh, it just finished. That's crazy. What? But man, there's just a lot of good mangas, and obviously I feel like they're getting really too saturated due to all of the isekais. I'm kind of getting tired of isekais, not gonna lie. We don't need so many reincarnations or isekais. The one thing I'm really confused about, and I'm really trying to understand whatever happened to the popularity, because it kind of blew up initially, but you don't hear about it anymore. Granted, I haven't read this, but whatever happened to Tokyo Revengers? Like, people loved season 1, I believe, and then afterwards, no one talked about it anymore. Like, I think Tokyo Revengers, like, as you're saying, original, it's kind of sounded original, but how come no one's talking about it anymore? Everyone made it sound like it was a really big deal, but then it disappeared just like that. Whatever happens to that one? Oh yeah, we kind of drifted off from like canceled anime, But the canceled anime that basically I was thinking of when I wanted this season 2, it's still strong, but it didn't really stick the landing. I wonder why. Honestly, I don't even know the plot about it. All I know is just like it involves gangs, but is there something specific to the plot that makes it just not good, or is it just more due to the anime? But yeah, going back to the canceled or not canceled, but anime that I wish had a second season, but didn't. The flaw is in the writing itself. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Alright, so the anime that, when I started watching anime, that I wanted to have a second season, but never came to be. This was the one that I would always search nonstop, like, when is season 2? Is season 2 happening? And it never did? Would have to be Angel Beats. If you guys don't know what Angel Beats is, you're missing out, because there's a lot to digest in that series. Angel Beats is essentially Purgatory, but it surrounded high school students stuck in purgatory. Each had their own reason as to why they died, and the purgatory was literally a high school setting, and it was meant to help them pass on to the next life. And it had a really interesting plot, because you would never understand, like, yes, you're in purgatory, but they were like people that didn't accept the fact that they were dead. They were mad at God, actually. You know, honestly, this just sounds like a Persona plot, but it was still good at its time. It was such a good plot. There was fighting, and then there was this one specific character who was American, who's blonde, and he just spoke in English throughout the entirety of the series. His name was TK. And apparently, his backstory was he fell in love with a Japanese girl whose dad was part of the Yakuza. The Yakuza man didn't like that, so he basically tortured his daughter as well as TK. And the reason why, well, obviously he didn't want him to be together with a foreigner. And he essentially basically told TK, I'm gonna kill her if you stop dancing. So he kept dancing until his body no longer could dance. And obviously both of them died in the end. But that's why he's always speaking in English? Or no, yeah. Or was it the Mafia? No. TK was definitely the American falling in love with the Japanese Yakuza girl. But yeah, that's why he was always dancing with it within the anime series itself. It's like, why is he always moving like that? Oh, that's because before he died, he was dancing to keep his girl alive, you know? Oh yeah, that reminds me of the DeRosa arc with the baby guy. The one who dressed like a baby for his wife, because that kept her happy, because she was traumatized. Yeah, DeRosa was such a good arc. I can't help it. I'm sorry. Alright, let me drink some water. But yeah, I really did enjoy the Angel Beats anime. It was such a good series. The opening slap, hearing those first few notes of the piano, the dun 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 dun, and then just go into a upbeat beat. And then there was one instance where they did a rock iteration of the song, and that was also good. It was just a good series, but it felt like it ended off way too short, because I wanted to see more of the characters' backgrounds. We only saw like a few of their backgrounds. Obviously, we saw the MC's past. And like maybe 5 other characters, but that's just about it. I really want to understand what allows them to pass on, you know? And it was a good series, but it really did end off short. It's a good series. It really needed a second season though. That was the main issue. It had a lot of unique characters, but not enough time to digest everything. Because honestly, I felt like it kind of rushed things. It honestly did, but it really does have its moments. And I think it was like an early 2000s. Hey, Hiloy, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I think it was an early 2010 anime. It was really high quality. I need to actually search up who made Angel Beats, like who produced Angel Beats, because it was such a good one. Angel Beats. Let me search it up. Okay, so it got 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 4.7 out of 5 on Crunchyroll, 8 out of 10 on My Anime List. Created by hold on, that's... trying to see, what else has he written? What else has he made? Career, oh wow, he's made a lot of stuff. Well, I guess it did start off originally as a visual novel, but it was so good in anime form, I'm gonna be honest. There was so much potential in it, but it just, it was made by Aniplex and PA Works, so, well, I'm trying to see. Let's see PA Works. Never seen PA Works that way. Progressive Animation Works. Filmography. Oh, they made... I'm trying to see, have I read any of these? Shirobako? Nice! Wow. Trigun Stampede? Oh my god. You know, a fun fact, if you look carefully, doesn't my hair kind of look familiar to the new iteration of Vash? It's kind of similar if you take a close look. Yeah, I kind of referenced it when I was asking for my design. I had my hair styled that way. Wow, so they made Shirobako and Charlotte? Wow, no wonder it was so good. That definitely makes a lot of sense. Because I was really questioning the animation quality of it, because it was really good. It was really good. I'm gonna admit, that 3D animation Trigun Stampede is pretty decent. I like the way it looks. Granted, it's a modern take of Vash. Which, I mean, nothing wrong with that. You know, I'm still waiting. Did he do the long name announcement? I hope he did. What? Hold on, let me see. I want to search his name and I want to say it. Vash's full name. Vash. Full name. What's his full name? We got Valentina's Alcanilla Isifa Sista Boris. Oh my god, I can't read this. However, this may be a joke. It may be a joke, that's unfortunate. I should definitely watch it because I hear that 3D animation in that series is pretty good. I hear it is pretty good in that one. But yeah, I definitely need to go back to watching anime. There's just, I don't know. Zero Orange does not miss. Definitely. I don't know. I've just been, what's the word? There's not that many series that I'm willing to watch anime of if there's just already a manga version of it present. Hoseki. Oh, nice. Well, they definitely improved since Hoseki. A huge improvement. Like, I remember watching Hoseki. Granted, it could be based off the art style, but it definitely, they changed a lot once they did Vash. What was I gonna say? I literally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, watching anime. There's not that many times that I would watch anime nowadays, mostly due to the fact that if it's available in manga format, I could just read it, you know? I think, like, for example, Naruto. I didn't watch the war just because I wanted to read I could read it to see what happens in the future. Unfortunately, I'm not that big of a you know what? For your sake, Rena, I'll watch Trigun. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a watch along. Maybe. Who knows? Oh, maybe. I would love to watch OG Trigun. That sounds fun. And then jump into the modern one and be so like stingy about the differences. Granted, the guy with the cross, he doesn't look that different, but he's got that Riz on him though. He definitely does. Yeah, like, yeah, definitely. I don't know, like both, I know for a fact both are definitely good, but I feel like, okay, when it comes to watching old anime, there's some things that I kind of miss from modern iterations, you know, but the manga has a bit of range of strange publication history. That shouldn't be that hard. I've read Baki before, and Baki is all over the place. I can figure it out, no worries. Let's see. Going back to like watching anime, I just don't watch it unless it's like an original anime series. Cause if there is a manga iteration, I'm just gonna read the manga, you know? Like for example, I can't remember it. That one anime that involves Kyotaro and Anna? I just read it. I read it before it became an anime, so there's really no point unless I'm really interested in the voice actors. Even Yoji Senkai, I watched it first as an anime, but as soon as I finished that first season, I just read the manga. And then, obviously, the movie wasn't in manga form, so I decided to watch that. It's basically based, yes, Dangers in My Heart. I read that first before it became an anime, so I just really had no reason to watch it. Unless I'm really interested in the voice actors or a specific scene, I'm not gonna watch the entire series. But going back to like maybe Naruto, I didn't watch the war. I read everything. I read the entire war, and only when I wanted to see the big final fights, that's when I actually watched it, you know? That's literally the only reason why. Unless there's specific content missing from the manga series, then yeah, I'll definitely go watch it, you know? I don't know, it's just, I guess I'm more into the storytelling nowadays. I didn't watch Solo Leveling, I read Solo Leveling. Why would I need to watch something that I already read? Maybe for those epic moments, but I'm not gonna watch everything from back to finish nowadays. I regressed. I remember watching Haruhi Suzumiya and then I jumped to the light novel series. Now that Haruhi Suzumiya no longer has anime, I just read the light novels. You think I'm good to watch Trigun Stampede without watching the older stuff first? If you say so, but I do want to find that one specific clip of Vash saying the name as a joke, or maybe I should watch it in dub. I don't know, cause let's be honest, classic anime dub is pretty decent compared to modern anime dub. Example, well, I say this is modern because it was 2010. Dead Man Wonderland, that dub was I really didn't like it. Yeah, no, the dub for Trigun is really good, as well as Cowboy Bebop. You know, I didn't watch the Netflix iteration of it. Was he canceled? I don't even know if, I think that was canceled, wasn't it? I don't even hear anything about Cowboy Bebop. Wow. Yeah, I should definitely watch some old school anime. Not a lot of animes hit that high note anymore nowadays. Johnny Young Bush will always be Vash for me. Makes sense. I can feel that. It's the same way how I feel with Goku. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy Japanese dub Goku, but English voice actor Goku will always be, I will always recognize him as Goku. Hey, it's me, Goku! And then I remember watching those random clips of like, oh, it's like the manga of, like, it would just be like a random chapter and it's just like Goku stepping in to stop the villain. for anything random like Chainsaw Man, Berserk, and you would just hear the English dub voice actor. It's like, you're the scum of the universe, and I'm getting sick of it. I'm like, oh my god, yes, Goku, yes, please. Preach for me, Goku. Hit them with that Kamehameha, please. I miss Akira Toriyama. That last chapter from him, you know he made that chapter. But yeah, anime, unless it's an original project that doesn't have a manga or light novel form, there's really no reason for me to watch it. Unless the animation really tops off, then I'll literally finish the season 1 and then just jump straight into the manga series. And that was the case for not Shirobako, but Hanebado, which is the badminton anime. I never thought I'd be interested in badminton, but the characters reeled me in. And that series was okay. It could have been better though, not gonna lie. More exploration of side characters would have been nice. I think that's why I enjoyed Naruto so much. Everyone had their own arc. It wasn't just, yes, the anime was called Naruto, but everyone actually had their own moment. It's more of a remix of the Trigun manga, which is why I think you'll enjoy it regardless. Okay, makes sense. Definitely makes sense. It's only on season 1 right now, right? If there's a season 2, You know what I would be really curious to see? What would be the end of? I want to see if JoJo's Bizarre Adventure will ever end. Like, granted, every JoJo adventure is different, but I want to see what is the end game of this Bizarre Adventure. Is everything going to be connected somehow? What is going to happen? What is the final phase of JoJo? And we'll probably never know that. Because, I mean, think about it. It takes a lot for... Yeah, it's strange, right? His art style, it is such a work of art. Even in this latest iteration of JoJo, it's just amazing how he remains consistent throughout, you know? But I will say, I think it's a no-brainer that people always want to continue the series, but they are also hesitant of letting it end because it's their, if you think about it, those works of art are essentially their child. They don't want to let go of their child. You know how long it took for Ash to no longer be the MC in the Pokemon series? And not gonna lie, I'm happy, but I'm also sad that he's no longer the MC. I thought he was gonna be here through forever. Yeah, but honestly, I wanted to see him grow more. Is that kind of that's kind of spoiled of me, selfish of me to say that, but I kind of wanted him to stay. It just doesn't feel right. Like, I saw him grow, and we saw him become the master of the world. Hey, just like me, I'm a master. And it was so heart-struck. Yeah, I just want to see one reference. Just bring him back one episode in his prime, and I would be so happy. I'll be so happy. Ah, man. Him, Ash, and Goku, those are the two that never gave up. They never gave up. And I respect that. I also respect that. You know? But yeah, I was going back. It takes a lot for creators to actually say, like, yeah, we're done with this series. Unless their publisher literally says, sorry, we gotta axe the series. Oh my god, I hate when a series, when I'm specifically reading, you know we got axed. Like, you know they rushed this part and it's just bad. And it feels really sad, honestly. So many times when the series get axed. And then there was also signs when you notice they reuse scenes in anime. And I'm just like, maybe they just didn't have enough time in production. Thank you so much, Mio the Dodge. I really appreciate it. The manga series Mary Grave, The Pain, yeah. Yeah, I do appreciate the support, me with the dodge. It does hurt me a lot when people do unsubscribe, but like Goku and Ash, I should not let that keep me down. I gotta keep trying, and we're getting closer. We're getting closer, and like I said, I'm always happy for those who stay, whether on stream or off stream. So yeah, thank you for the continued support. Oh man, we talked about, oh my god, we talked about anime for quite, I mean, you know, we could keep talking. I don't mind talking about anime. It's one of my go-tos. I remember I made the initial for anime being Asia's never-ending, irreplaceable masterpiece of entertainment. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Progress is never a straight line, but what matters is that it's still a line and there's no end to it, you know? It'll have its highs and lows. Eventually I'll reach the, I don't, you know, I hope I'll never reach the peak, meaning I'll always keep growing. That's how I see it, you know? What was I gonna say? Anime. I mean, conventions are fun. Now, initially, when I went to anime conventions, it was more about geeking out as a fan and just maybe one or two panels. Nowadays, I don't really go to panels. I just honestly just chill with my friends and just enjoy the environment because you're near people that enjoy the same stuff as you. Funny story. That's how I actually made friends in high school, through going in the anime convention. Granted, I knew them beforehand. Like, honestly, when I met them initially in high school, I honestly saw them as rivals as well as colleagues. I didn't really consider them my friends. But then, lo and behold, I went to an anime convention and I saw them just like sitting down, like playing games there. I was like, oh, hey, I go to high school with these guys. So I reached out, and obviously they reached out as well. We hung out for a bit throughout the entire convention, and they realized, hey, Sono Rayn's actually a pretty chill dude. We should hang out with him more often. And guess what? We've been friends ever since. And it actually made my high school life really enjoyable. Like, for the remainder of it, I got to go to prom. I sleep at my friend's place. As friends. It was really fun. And I got to experience their pain and suffering, but I was there as their support. So honestly, I'm glad I found anime. Because not only was it more of a hobby, but it brought me closer to friends, you know? And lo and behold, look at me, oh wait, you know what? This all started with Goku and Ash. And then it came to me learning of Miku, and then anime, and then this whole rabbit hole building up to me being an anime boy. Hey. You honestly, if I told my young self, young Sono, this will be your canon events. In the end, you'll become an anime boy. I'll be like, what are you talking about? Don't talk to me. I'm gonna call the cops. But no, it was definitely an interesting journey. Conventions, going back to conventions, like I said, I would be interested in panels. Nowadays, some conventions, the guests are not that, like, I'm not interested in it. I want something big and explosive. But if there's nothing big and explosive, I'm literally just there to chill with people who share my same interests. And as an adult, we don't really get that time to hang out with each other that much. I guess you could consider it like a mini vacation. Away from work, away from responsibilities. And just relax, play games, enjoy anime, and possibly drink and eat, you know? Oh man, I remember when booking a hotel would take forever as a high schooler. Yeah, definitely crowded is definitely one of the main issues. At most, I don't really go to panels unless it's someone I really want to see, you know? Waiting in lines is mentally draining, especially when sitting up. And there's just so many people, especially in the big cons. You could get lost in there forever. Prices rack up. It's just nah. I'm just gonna chill in my hotel room and just bring a few people over. I have this drink. You want to drink it? I made it myself. Ah, man. Oh yeah. You know, I think they need to put, you know, I think they need to add subliminal messages in anime. Granted, we have shower scenes, but I think we need more. We need deodorant scenes for better hygiene. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I hear deodorant is one of the main garlics to anime fans, you know? Ah, man. I'm just stretching a bit. Drink some water. Some water. Oh, man. Anime, I would say. Aside from sunlight, I say this lovingly. Yeah. They're mostly sunlight as well. They showed people going out. Like I said, Code Geass was one of the first animes which actually changed my personality. I wouldn't say changed my personality, but I adapted to it. Becoming more of a assessor or an analyzer of things, specifically due to Lelouch. And I think that's what made me pull off being a really good procrastinator. I'll just be like, okay, it takes me on average around 2 hours for me to make one paragraph. So I need to search around 15 resources so I'll have enough paragraphs to make up for this 2,000 word essay. I gotta make sure it's in double font space. Oh, do I need an abstract? Let's see what the specific questions. Yeah, that type of stuff. Oh, man. And I don't even think Code Geass is even ended. They're still milking that series as well. But I will say it is one of the OGs. Okay, I think we drifted away from speaking on anime for quite a while. We'll put it on hold for a bit because I don't wanna spill everything. I mean, I enjoy Friendren a lot. I do enjoy Friendren. But we gotta go back to the original topic, which was, lo and behold, me becoming a master agent. We talked about the ceremony, we talked about the hot pot. I already talked about how the journey was overall. It was a smooth process. Yeah, it was a wrong there's nothing wrong with tangents. I honestly enjoy those types of tangents. They are really fun. Ah, man. And granted, those type of tangents, they don't happen naturally if you do not have that much knowledge base regarding it, you know? No, there's nothing wrong with that, Rena. It helps pass the time anyways. Like I said, this Zatsudan, it's the first ever Zatsudan, so it's fine. It's honestly fine. I need to get used to these type of tangents anyways. And we could always talk about it if I don't have anything left anyways. You know? It's fine. Hey, who knows? If I ever get to do those super chat readings, I don't know if I'll ever get big to that point, but who knows? That will be fun in that regard because that's more topics for me to talk about if I ever do super chat readings, you know? Every time I feel like I'm getting closer, I'm really happy about that. Specifically, such as this first Zatsudan stream, hey, you know. Alright, back to the main topic. We talked about the ceremony, we talked about this Grease stuff and whatnot. No, it's fine. It's fine, Rena. It's one of those instances where it's like, some people just prefer to lurk, and some people just prefer to listen. Honestly, when I watch other VTubers, I'm the type that just like, I like to throw in a words couple here and there, but at the same time, I just enjoy watching them, you know? And I hope you enjoy that as well. That's what I hope for my viewers, as long as they don't feel annoyed. It's like that one meme of that old guy removing his headphones. I hope that's not how you guys feel about me. You know, whether you're doing your taxes, doing your homework, as long as you're enjoying me tangenting or talking along, then yeah, you know? I don't want to sound annoying to you guys, you know? But if there's ever a moment where like, oh, I really want to ask him a question, feel free. I'll try my best as long as it's within my capabilities, you know? All right. Let's see. We talked about the ceremony and I enjoyed it. Surprisingly, like I said, I just really wanted to get it over with. Granted, it's one of those monumental moments in my life that I should be proud about. I hope it's the last time I go back to school. I'll be honest, I really don't want to go back to school. But yeah, I mean, I really worked hard. That final project, I think I galaxy brained it. Granted, I had my professor help me along to guide me, to make sure that the paper was actually going along the path. But I think I met their expectations in regards to it. Yeah. The one problem about that big final project is that it's an accumulation of everything you've learned up to that point. So think about it. You gotta, even though it's one of those programs that go by really fast, you still gotta pay attention and use the knowledge that you built from those classes. Sometimes it could be kind of difficult, and sometimes you just need a little guidance. But I think I pulled it off really well, and that's how I became a master agent. But yeah, yeah. What subject did I study? All right, yeah, I could go in about it. So, as an agent, granted, it is agent work since I am an agent for hire, but some of the areas that I did go and study about actually had to deal with understanding charting for computers. That is part of my agent for hire work, you know? So basically those programs that you do use when it comes to like charting things, basically that's what I've been studying throughout. Understanding like, as both surprisingly, there's also leadership courses as well, so I had to understand how to be a leader in those situations where I would be, you know, managing projects for specific missions, you know, as well as like the production of like, oh, specific features that would need to be included throughout. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting agent work, you know, for someone like me. But the only issue that I could say is like, it felt like there was some stuff where stuff started between classes, stuff would start to overlap, and it wasn't that bad overall, because it meant that I was like building a knowledge base for the big final project, and it was pretty good. It was more of like, okay, these are building blocks, but rather than giving you an entirely different subject to learn, instead we're going to give you something similar but add on to that. So basically you look at it from a different perspective, if that makes sense. And I think when becoming an agent, one of the main key things that they had us learn about was different models of when it comes to introducing new things. Like, oh, you know, like the model of acceptance, or like, oh, the expectations of how applicable is this product going to be, stuff like that basically. And I think that's really interesting just because it helps understand why certain decisions nowadays in like other fields such as like the game industry happen as a result. Like, all right, the best example that I can think about, granted this is really far out of my expertise, but I definitely could understand where it's coming from. Let's talk about the one game that has been that sparked a lot of controversy as of lately. Helldivers 2. What went wrong? Well, let's look at it from a certain perspective. When it initially came out, it was fun, it was a PvE, and it was multiplayer. That's a lot of good factors that give a lot of replayability and foster in a large player base. So it already met all the demands in being a high quality game at a reasonable price, making it really popular in demand. So what went wrong? Specifically, the mandatory change of having players sign in for specific accounts. However, that account is limited. The problem with that is not the fact that they have to make an account. It's the fact that making that account limits the amount of population that can have access to that said game. Unfortunately, not everyone has access to the account to be made so that they can play Helldivers 2. And that's honestly makes sense. People don't want to be forced into something that that would limit the availability of accessing the game when they initially played it. It was available for everyone, you know? Anyone can play Helldivers 2, but due to those recent changes, not everyone can. And honestly, I didn't do my research. I don't know if it was mandatory, but obviously, it was not one of those things where it's just like, I would consider that to be an outside factor, outside of the game, like the gameplay itself, that makes the game not desirable anymore. Excuse me. Yeah, basically, definitely. Because, alright, let's say you have the perfect game, like mechanics, visuals. If everything is perfect, it can still be bad due to outside factors. One of them could be price. Would you ever pay a $200 game if it met all your expectations? I don't think I would. I would literally wait for it to be on sale. The reason why, that is too high of a gate for me to enter just to have that experience. It's not worth it on my end. So when I think about that account sign-in, that I would consider to be an outside factor. Even though the game is of perfect caliber and quality, the account sign-in basically ruins the entirety of it. And would I say that would outside factors have a huge major influence over gameplay? Yes and no. It depends. It depends on how much of an influence it has. And in this case, it influences the majority of the player base. Let's say if everyone has a lot of money, then $200 is no issue, you know? Yeah, and then in addition, that would be yes, Rena, you are definitely correct. That would be considered another factor that doesn't help with the reassurance that it's not that big of an issue. It kind of is a big of an issue given their track history, you know? Granted, I never got to play Helldivers 2. And I really want to, but out of good intention, I should not until this issue is resolved. Because it's one of those things where I feel like gaming should be one of those things where it should be accessible to everyone. It definitely should be accessible to everyone. Yeah, I know, right? Surprisingly, I haven't played Helldivers 1 yet, which I do want to plan on playing in the future, which doesn't have any issues, but you know, it's those streamer demand stuff. I would love to play Helldivers 2, but out of good fate and will, I will not. Games should always be fun. They shouldn't be a bad experience. PvP or not. Granted, it really does depend on specific factors, but the odds were not in the favor for this one. There's just too much that's to consider when it comes to accessibility. And plus the fact that it's a PC title and no one wants to go through that, you know? Specifically, like, being gated due to like a specific platform that you're not necessarily familiar with, when it literally doesn't make any sense, you know? Like, by introducing it into this platform, you should make it accessible for that audience that are only targeted towards that platform, you know? That's why I honestly stream on both YouTube and Twitch. I do not want to force viewers on Twitch to watch my streams on YouTube if they do not wish to, you know? That's why I have a Twitch stream happening around the same time, you know? But I want to make sure everyone's involved, which is why I have this chat box available, so you can actually see both of you guys' chats, you know? It's really unfortunate, but I feel as though accessibility is one of the main issues when it comes to having a large player base. Sometimes it's out of good faith, but sometimes it could be messed up if other factors are not taken into account. Ah man, video games. They are fun, but they can also be bad, and it does depend. Granted, if you think about it, this happened to a game that's not necessarily a live service game. And it was more of an update. And that kind of sucks. That really does suck. Okay, so we finished the ceremony. So what do you let me see. Let's see. Yeah, looking back throughout my entire journey, my education journey, I will say it's been, yeah, many bad decisions all around. Definitely agree. But then again, it's the one thing that I will say is an issue, and I said this prior. It takes a lot to enforce change, unfortunately. Unless public reception influences it, it's really tough to change people's minds. I am one of those people where it's just like, you gotta do a lot of convincing. You gotta give me those facts if you want to change my mind, you know? And we don't even know if even doing a negative review on Steam is even enough. I need a drink again. I'm having hiccups. Oh, hi, Rosie girl. Hi, thank you so much for helping me reach 30 followers on Twitch. Thank you so much. Oh my god, thank you. Much appreciated. Let me stretch a bit. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the follow. We've just been talking about a lot of stuff. Me getting my masters. What else did I get? Oh, we were talking about a lot of anime. Yeah, we were talking about a lot of anime. And we were just, right now, we're talking about the video game industry, as well as, like, what the issues lied when it came to Helldivers 2. But yeah, man. So exhilarating. First ever Zatsudan stream, and I feel like I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm in a good, decent mood. What? My lips are still dry. What is going on? I am drinking like non-stop. Alright. But yeah, looking back on my master's journey, I would say getting up to this point, including from like starting from like kindergarten up to here, I would honestly say it has been a rocky but smooth road overall. How did I make my amazing avatar? I actually got it commissioned, actually. I hired? I guess you could say a hire. I commissioned a wonderful artist to help design this, and then I hired another person to help make me move and whatnot, you know? But yeah, that's basically what happened. But this, I would say the majority of this is of my own design and choice, you know? I got my glasses, I got my hair, I even got my fancy jacket. Yeah. Alright, looking back at my master's journey, I would say middle school through high school, it went alright. College, definitely was rocky. And then, going through first bachelor's was rocky, but I overcame it. Then going through the work experience before going to masters was a rocky path. I mean, just gotta do some research, you know. There's a lot of resources available, so I do recommend doing your research on VTubers first before trying to, because, I mean, granted, anyone can be a VTuber. It just depends on how you want to start off. I don't recommend starting off big like me with a big fancy VTuber, you know? Everyone does recommend you just start off with like a still image, you know? Yeah, PNG tubing is the way to start because you want to get the vibe in. Not everyone can be used to managing a full-on model yet, and obviously for most that is the first experience as being a content creator slash streamer. And I've done streaming beforehand, however I never felt like it was good enough for me until I discovered VTubing, and I knew for a fact like this was the way I wanted to do my content creation. Yeah, going back to my journey, I would say, yeah, after getting my bachelor's, it was rocky until I decided that I wanted to get my master's. And for the most part, getting that master's overall, it was not difficult. It just required a lot of work and effort. Nothing was too stress-inducing for me to be really worried about my future. Granted, when I was getting my bachelor's, I was really stressed out. I was really stressed out trying to even finish college. PNG, so you use a image. PNG is, you know, those images, those high, you know, like a JPEG. So if I was just a still image, but like, you know, my eyes are closed, and if I were to talk, my eyes would open, and then I would stop talking and my eyes would close. Stuff like that. That's basically what it is. But yeah, basically you stream with a picture of what you want to identify as, you know? Yeah. Oh man, yeah, my overall journey, like getting my master's was not difficult. It just required a lot of effort. Granted, I did have some events that happened alongside it, but it didn't stop me from finishing. Though I will say it was a huge event that happened in my life. It was tough. What's a good place to start an avatar for Twitch? I'll be honest, I would say just to use your imagination. There are actually a lot of resources available. I believe some artists have made free PNG avatars for you to use. So you could definitely do your research. You could definitely find one, you know? And just, I mean, you don't need lore, you don't need anything like that. You don't need the setup like I do. You could just start streaming, you know? Get used to streaming first before you want to start branching out. Because sometimes VTubing is not for everyone. Yeah. Like I said, when I started VTubing, this was obviously this happened during my master's program, and I was literally halfway through, and that was when everything was more relaxed. I was only having like one class per term, but then I decided, yeah, I kind of want to start locking into the VTubing because I was really serious about it at that time. But granted, it took a lot of management to balance both streaming as well as doing my classes. But however, I did have to prioritize my classes overall, which is why there would be times where I had to cancel streams. It hurt me a lot, but I wanted to pass those classes, you know? But yeah, overall, I did a good balance and I finished. I got my master's and I'm really happy about that. So let's see, what's next now that I have my master's? Well, right now, I would say I am currently in my vacation time. Yeah, this is my vacation right now because I get to enjoy not stressing out about other stuff. There's stuff I do want to do, and there are projects along the path. But yeah, currently on vacation, but once that vacation ends, obviously I still want to keep streaming to you guys. Do you create how to create it without hiring people to make it, or is that part of the research? That is also part of the research if you want specific artists. But there are artists that provide free avatars, so definitely take a look. But yeah, I will say, overall the process pretty good. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, what do I have in store for the future? Well, one, currently on vacation. Well, not vacation yet. I'll let you guys know if I am if I ever do travel. But right now, this is currently my break from after getting my do I have any pets? I actually do have a pet. He is an agent dog and he's really cute. You guys won't be able to hear him though due to my microphone not catching it, but he is really cute. I still consider him a puppy though. I don't know how old he is. He's like a teenager right now. Restless little puppy. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, what do I have in store? Like I said, I'm still on my break. Still need to do projects. I still have projects along the path. So yeah, hopefully though, that's actually it's gonna be worked on this week. So I'm kind of excited about that. I really want to see what the final product is gonna be, and hopefully it's well received by you guys. Really do hope so. But yeah, I'm just taking my break. Obviously, once that break is over, I will start looking for agent work, but I will still stream to you guys when I have the time. I might have to adjust my schedule. So I might need to adjust my future schedules because I don't know what my agent work will look like. Thank you so much, Rosie Girl. I hope you have a good one as well. Thank you so much for stopping by, as well as the follow. You helped me reach 30 followers on Twitch. Much excited. Be sure to also subscribe on YouTube as well, because we are actually close to a milestone on YouTube if you are willing to. Not trying to force you, but I do appreciate the support as well, you know? Thank you. But yeah, literally, currently on break. Once that break is over, I will start looking for agent work. The schedule will definitely be, it might change, but I'll still try to maintain the 3 streams weekly, because I really don't want to ruin that, you know? Yeah, by all means, I really appreciate it. Thank you. You have a good one, alright? Yeah. Yeah, I do stream on both YouTube and Twitch, so whichever is your preferred platform, but I would appreciate if you subscribe on YouTube as well. You don't have to watch on YouTube, but as long as you support there as well, you know? Yeah, you have a good one, bye-bye! Yeah, I do want to maintain at least 3 streams weekly, because obviously, I'm gonna be honest, this week was really, it was a lot to handle. 5 streams overall? That was a lot. Like, what? I'm surprised I was able to pull it off. Granted, it was not the smoothest, but we actually did it. We did 5 streams. Yeah, that was definitely a lot. Granted, I am used to doing like 4 streams, but 3 streams is like my bread and butter, and with some of them being long streams, it's a good pace. But yeah, once I start looking for once I find a new agency and start doing missions over there, I definitely do want to go back to doing, I definitely do want to maintain 3 streams weekly. Because obviously, I still want to keep growing. Obviously, we're not at that point where it can be like, I quit my job. Goodbye, masters. I am now a full-time VTuber. Suck on that. No, not like that, you know. This is a hobby that it's one of those things where you're basically like a botanist. Is that what you call it? That's what you call people that like growing stuff, right? Botanist? Botanomy? I want this to grow. I want everything to grow, you know? I started during my master's program, and I'm not gonna stop yet. And I feel like I've definitely grown a lot throughout that entirety. I'm really curious as to how high, well, not how high, but I hope the more I give this care and love. Botanist works too, yeah. Basically, I'm a gardener. I want to keep this motion motion, what? Sorry. Let me drink some water and get my correct words in. I want to keep growing. Like, obviously, this is not one of those things, oh, I'm just doing this to pass time while I'm doing my master's program. No. Keep cultivating that sprout. You are definitely right, Rena. You're so good at words, oh my god. And compared to me, where I couldn't even understand the word underestimated, I don't know. I keep forgetting certain words, and I hate that so much about me. I'm just like, no, I know the word, I know this phrase. It's just not a priority for me to say it right now, you know? Yeah, I'm gonna keep cultivating this while I'm doing my agent work. So, and honestly, I don't regret being a VTuber when I started my, while I was doing my masters. Cause during that first year, watching VTubers actually kept me going throughout my master's program. During that first year, I still watch VTubers, not as much anymore, cause obviously one, I stream as a VTuber now, but it helped keep me going through that first initial year in my master's program. Granted, my friends and family helped along the path, but for like, you know, what do you call, to give me that dose of serotonin and adrenaline, they definitely helped motivate me and kept me busy. Like, I would be listening to them as I'm finishing assignments or on a break, stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely do owe it to my family and friends. Without them, I don't think I would have been able to do this. They were really supportive in me. There were times where, like, obviously they had to step up and be like, come on, you need this break. And it basically motivated me to be like, okay, I'll go hang out with you guys, but since you guys are motivating me, I have to make sure I at least finish work. So I'm gonna step up and finish this work beforehand so we can have a wonderful time. And I had to do that twice within a specific year, but I don't regret it. I don't regret pulling an all-nighter just so I could hang out with them the following day, because I really do enjoy my friends. Granted, I'll be honest, I'm the type of person that tends to, if I'm really focused on myself, I don't really reach out to others. I'll communicate them from time to time, but I'm not going to be joining group calls, you know? I'm like, sorry, I'm locked in, I need to focus on myself. But I'm glad they still support me despite that, you know? It really does help. And granted, my experience with my bachelor's did help mature me, as well as help me prioritize my work. So I will say, I've earned my masters. I earned becoming a master agent, Sono Rayn. I'm really curious as to what the journey will have for me in the future. I'm gonna keep experimenting. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying to cultivate this wonderful community that we have. This small little sprout is gonna grow so big someday. And I won't even know. If I see a huge tree next to me, I'm gonna still consider that a small sprout. Because our potential is limitless. And it all depends on how much effort we put in. I'm not gonna give up. I never gave up. Granted, though my paths have changed a lot throughout due to my bachelor's, as well as my master's, for what it's worth, coming from a random on the internet, you know, you're not a random on the internet. You're part of this community, Rena, so it means the world to me. It really does. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not the type that cries a lot, but know that I am overflowing with emotion right now. I'm honestly, it's viewers like you guys that motivate me to keep trying. Because honestly, throughout my master's journey, granted, my friends were my motivators, but I also had to motivate myself to actually be a VTuber. So having people that actually support me means the world. So when you guys support me through stuff that's outside of VTubing and more related to my IRL stuff, it means a lot. Sorry, my lips keep drying up. It's because I have a fan blowing in my face, sorry. Like, I'm honestly surprised. It's already 2 hours. We pulled off a 2-hour Zatsudan. And that makes me happy. Because this is the best way I could describe getting that degree, as well as being a VTuber and having viewers like you guys. You got that, all of that is more of a display of what I am capable of achieving. And I really appreciate it. You guys are basically my proof. You guys may not notice, you guys are my, what's the way? I wouldn't say treasure, because treasure is something you, it's not treasure. You guys are basically my validation, if that makes sense. Granted, I should always be confident in myself, but having you guys here supporting me is my validation that I'm on the right path, you know? And that I should keep going. So, thank you guys for being along this journey. It's not gonna end yet. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying, keep experimenting while balancing my Asian work. Yeah. It's proof that I existed. Oh, sorry, hiccups. I'm not crying, it's just hiccups. Yeah. I'm just glad you guys at least enjoy my voice. I know my voice is one of those things that people always say, but I'm like, you know, there is a personality behind that voice. So I hope that mixture, that combination of those two are enough for you guys, that you find enjoyment in listening and hearing me, you know, as well as watching my streams. So, what is the schedule for this week? I still have to stream tomorrow. I still need to get the schedule out tonight, but this schedule, laid back, it's not going to be as hectic. So, Monday, chill Stardew Valley. I always gotta go with my Stardew Valley, you know, I can't help it. It's my bread, I wouldn't say it's my bread and but my bread and butter, but I enjoy playing it a lot, and it's so it's a comfy stream for me. It's my go-tos if I just want to sit back and relax, you know? Wednesday, back to Red Dead Redemption 2. Can we get to 30%? Maybe. I'm not quite sure. Now, the last stream, I'm really thinking about it, to be honest. I either want to put it on Friday or Saturday. You could provide your input if you want. If not, I'll just think about it in the end. Just because, one, Saturday I think is a better time for people, just because, like, it's the weekend. But Friday is also near the weekend, so people may have days off or free time. But those 2 days in particular could be a spot for a watch-along of Kung Pao. And that's not a long movie. That is like an hour and 20 minutes long. So if you guys want to provide your input, no worries. If not, I might just go with either Friday or Saturday. So just be on the lookout for that. That'll be our movie night. And maybe just for more convenience, I think I'll set it maybe at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Yeah. CST, Central Time. So yeah. We're gonna have Stardew Valley, Red Dead Redemption 2, I keep forgetting controls. I think I remember the controls this time. And then lastly, a watch along of Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Be warned that I wouldn't say it's toilet humor, but it's really like old classic humor. Like early 2000s humor, but it's so bad that it's good. And that's why I enjoy that movie so, man. All good, all good. Like I said, every stream of RD2, I'm gonna try to do 10% completion of it, because I really want to, well, granted, it's a long game, and that's why I want to make sure I'm making progress in that game. I don't want it to be 100 hours, well, I don't want to stream, I don't want there to be 100 streams of RD2, and I still haven't finished it yet, you know? So much potential. But yeah, it's a fun journey until GTA 6. Granted, I don't have a PS5, so we might have to wait for a PC release. But that's okay. That's definitely alright with me, you know? Stretch. But yeah, hey, we pulled it off. 2 hours Zatsu. I'm happy about that. That wasn't that long. That didn't take that long. I'm actually proud of that. Oh, we did it. Zatsu, first ever Zatsu done. I guess you could say it was Zatsu done. But then, I'm sorry. You see, I love puns. I can't help it. Oh my god, my lips are so dry. I need to drink water. You might as well call me Chappy at this point. That's actually quite refreshing water. I have those, I think I have the Brita bottle water. So when you pour water in, it actually, like when you sip through the straw, it gets filtered. So it always feels so refreshing. The only issue is you can't really put ice in it. I mean, you can, but it'll take too much space. So I might need to put it in the fridge. Oh man. Ooh-wee. But yeah, that'll be the schedule. Stardew Valley, RDR2, and watch along for Kung Pao Enter the Fist. So I hope you guys could catch up for that. Yeah, good talk. I'm really happy about it. First ever Zatsudan done. Who knows? Maybe I'll do another Zatsudan in the future. Well, granted, I will do one in the future. I just don't know what topics. I'll come up with one. I think I could think of one, you know? Shouldn't be that bad, as long as you guys are there along the path to talk. I mean, I will try my best. But having you guys here definitely helps, you know? No peer pressure, though. No peer pressure. You guys are good. Alright, I will call it here. Monday, Wednesday, Friday for this week's schedule. I'm gonna make sure it's uploaded today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Stardew Valley, alright? I think we are still in winter, so we need to finish up winter. I need to, well, I think what I'm gonna do once summer hits in that game, I need to change where all those tapers are. They're so far out of reach. But I need to make enough kegs, and then I need to go move all the fish stuff, because we need to take advantage of having the river island farm. So we have to do that, and oh god, we still need to find a gosh darn pufferfish, which doesn't want to show up nowadays. I think the pufferfish is the last thing we need for the greenhouse. We are really close to filling some of the stuff out. And then obviously we need to expand the farm. So yeah, that'll be fun for tomorrow. So much to actually do in the winter, even though we won't necessarily be growing stuff, you know. I can't wait. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited as well. Alright, gonna call it here. I'll see you guys tomorrow with Stardew Valley. I'll make sure to get a schedule out tonight, okay? Alright, thank you guys once again. I'm so happy that we finished this Zatsu. I'm sorry. Whoever came by to watch the stream, thank you so much for watching. Whoever's watching this as a replay or a VOD, I appreciate you guys as well. As long as you guys are enjoying yourself, that's all that matters to me. My name is Sono Rayn, and I hope I made your day a little better. I'll see you guys soon, okay? Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching. And away we go. Wah.